Alright, let's just rip the band-aid off this one, pun fully intended. Your testicles are, in evolutionary terms, a tell, a confession written in flesh. They are basically the most honest organ in your entire body, and they have been quietly snitching on your ancestors for 200 million years. Whether you like it or not, the size, shape, and general behavior of your downstairs department says some genuinely fascinating things about who you are, who your great-great-great-grandfathers were, and what kind of mating system your species accidentally signed up for somewhere around the time we came down from the trees. Let's start with the primates, because that's where the story gets weird. Take a gorilla, a 600-pound mountain of muscle, fists like cantaloupes, screams like a freight train. You'd assume his anatomy matches the energy. It does not. A male gorilla's testicles are, relative to his body, embarrassingly small. We are talking grape-sized, on a creature the size of a small refrigerator. Why? Because gorillas live in harems. One male, several females, total reproductive monopoly. He doesn't need to win a sperm competition. He already won by punching everyone else out of the building. His balls do not need to be Olympic athletes. They just need to show up. Now meet the chimpanzee, half the size of a gorilla, slightly worse table manners, and his testicles are, relative to body size, almost 10 times bigger than a gorilla's. Why? Because female chimps mate with multiple males in quick succession. The males don't fight over females. They fight inside the female. The competition is sperm versus sperm. Whoever produces more, faster, swimmier swimmers wins the genetic lottery. Giant testicles are the trophy. And then there's us, humans. Where do we land? Right in the middle. Bigger than gorillas, smaller than chimps. Which tells evolutionary biologists something quietly hilarious about the human species. Our ancestors were neither strict harem keepers nor full-blown sperm Olympians. We were somewhere in between, a little bit faithful, a little bit not, a little bit I'm just popping out for milk. Our balls are basically the anatomical equivalent of its complicated. Translation: human evolution looked at the species lineup, surveyed the options, and went, yes, we'll do both, thanks. There's more, and it gets stranger. In 2013, Emory University researchers compared men's testicle size to their behavior as fathers. The smaller the testes, the more involved the dads were in caregiving. Diaper changes, bath time, school runs, the whole apparatus of devoted parenthood. The larger the testes, the more those same men lean toward, let's say, investing their energy elsewhere. It's a small study with real limitations, and the correlation is not destiny, but the trend was statistically significant, and the brain scans backed it up. Your scrotum may in fact be predicting your attendance at parent-teacher night, which brings us to voice. In 2008, researchers studied howler monkeys, who are exactly what they sound like, primates whose entire personality is screaming. They found something surprising. The howlers with the deepest, lowest, most cinematic roars also had the smallest testicles. The ones with smaller voices, less impressive roars, had the bigger equipment. Evolution, it seems, only gives you so much budget. You can either be loud or you can be productive, not both. And then somebody asked the obvious follow-up question, does this work in humans? Sort of, yes. Studies have found that men with the deepest, most attractive-sounding voices, the kind that make people lean in at parties, tend to have lower sperm counts. Meanwhile, men with higher, less classically rugged voices often have higher sperm counts and slightly larger testes. It is the most magnificent biological trade-off ever discovered, and nobody talks about it. Evolution gave you one of two business cards. You don't get both. Now let's address the elephant, or rather, the slightly asymmetrical pair of elephants in the room. Yes, one of your testicles is bigger than the other. This is normal. In fact, statistically, the right one is usually larger and the left one usually hangs lower. This isn't a defect, It is the human body politely making sure your testicles don't crash into each other when you walk, which is a real engineering problem that evolution had to solve. The hanging also changes with temperature. Sperm production is incredibly finicky. It works best at about 2 degrees below body temperature, which is why your scrotum is on the outside in the first place. Hot day, they drop. Cold shower, they retreat back inside like teenagers hearing a parent come home. This is also why summer balls is a real phenomenon. Your physiology. Now the actually important part. Testicle size correlates with health. Testicular volume tracks with sperm production. A 2022 study found that overweight and insulin-resistant boys often had smaller testicular volume by adolescence, meaning childhood metabolic health may affect long-term reproductive function. And sudden changes in size, in either direction, can be a warning sign for atrophy, hydrocele, or in rare cases, testicular cancer, which is why every man should be doing self-checks once a month, because catching it early is basically a cheat code for survival. So what do your balls say about you ultimately? That you are a primate, shaped by a million negotiated compromises. That your ancestors were neither saints nor savages. That your voice, your parenting style, and your fertility are all quietly whispering at each other in a language you cannot hear and have been your entire life. And that the most honest organ in your body is in fact the one you take the least seriously. Check them monthly, 2 minutes in the shower. That's the actual takeaway.